What's up everybody, this is KG. Today I'm going to be giving you 5 tips on how to find a job. So let's start with tip number 1. Customize your resume and your cover letter for each job that you apply for. Now whenever you go out looking for a job, it's very simple to come up with a basic resume and cover letter. But remember, in order to stand out in each job you apply for, it really helps if you're able to customize your resume and cover letter for that particular job. For example, if there are specific skills or requirements for the job, it really helps if you have those type of things highlighted within your resume and cover letter. So let's take an example. My background is in architecture, and there are certain softwares that are important to know within the field of architecture. There's a software called AutoCAD. I would make sure to highlight that within my resume. Now I may have skills for other things such as Photoshop or video editing, but for that particular job, that may not be something that needs to be highlighted. Therefore, I may not even put it on my resume and just keep the main points that are specific to the job and helping me get the job on that resume. One thing to keep in mind is that when people are hiring for a job, they go through so many different resumes. So what you want to do in that case is give them the highlights, so when they have their checklist of items they're going through, they're looking, okay, he needs AutoCAD, check, he has it right then and there. You want them to be able to check off as many things as possible. That way you get called in for an interview down the line. Now if you make a very generic resume, it may show things that they don't care to know, and it may eliminate you from the job process because of that. Therefore, I'm not the type of person to make one particular resume to hand out to the masses. I'm more of a job-to-job focused resume type of guy, and that's something that has helped me land jobs in the past, and that's why I'm giving it to you as my first tip. Tip number 2 is to network and go to social events. The purpose of doing this is to expose yourself to your industry. So once again, I'll take an example from my industry of architecture. There are so many offshoots that come from an architectural background that you would be surprised that need to hire people with an architectural background. So you don't necessarily need to work in an architectural firm per se. There's people who manufacture materials for construction. They have in-house manufacturing requirements and they need people with architectural backgrounds. There's companies that supply specific things. So for example, there's kitchen consulting. So they still need people with a technical architectural background who can do CAD drawings and who can lay out spaces. So there are many other things you may discover from going to these social events and networking with different people in the industry. Another line of work I fell into with my architecture background was project management, and that took me down a unique path within my line of work. The other good thing about this is you meet people who may be able to connect you to more people, or who may be looking for someone themselves. So you never know, going to a social event might actually get you hired in a job. The other good thing about networking is you build up your own connections, and who knows, you may be able to help someone else get a job down the line as well, and they may be able to reciprocate that in the future. One of the best things about networking is that it shows that you're actually taking action towards finding a job for yourself and exposing yourself within the industry. My third tip for finding a job is to get advice from someone who's already working in the job that you're looking for. Now there might be more than one job that you're looking for, but it is good to look at different jobs you may be interested in and try to see if you can find someone who's already working and doing that job. They may be able to look at your resume and your cover letters and help you improve them. Also, they will give you an idea of what the job is actually like, what the requirements are, what is expected of you, and what you need to bring to the table. So in today's society with the internet, it makes it easier because you may be able to find people already working in your industry, even on the internet, maybe on a YouTube channel such as mine. So for example, if you're interested in architecture, you can always drop me a message and ask me questions about the field. Same way there are other people out there with other careers and other paths. So sending a direct message on the internet is one way. When you're networking socially, that's another way. And even your professors in school, they must have some sort of background in whatever field that you're studying, and they may be able to connect you that way as well. My fourth tip is to apply for jobs as much as possible in person. Why do I say this? Obviously in today's society it's easy to email and send resumes online, but you got to think of it this way. Say you're a recent graduate from university and you have the same level of education as 100 other people. So these 100 people put in a resume, you put in a resume, is almost identical. Let's say your experiences are very similar. So what will make you stand out versus someone else. Now I find human interaction is the one thing that surpasses a lot of other things, because now the person can put a face with a piece of paper. They may take you in right then and there. And I have personally seen this happen a number of times, that when a person takes the effort to drop a resume in person, many times they get called in for an interview right then and there, especially if they're looking for someone to hire at that particular moment. If you present yourself well, if you're well spoken and you're polite, people like that, and it is quite likely that you may get one of those opportunities yourself. Now, some companies say don't come in person and drop resumes off. Sometimes they don't want many people coming in all the time and applying for jobs, but the same people who say that, sometimes I've seen that that's how they end up hiring someone who walks in the door. So it's like taking a chance in life. Sometimes you'll get it, sometimes you won't. From my perspective, it doesn't hurt. If a company gets mad at you for making an effort to try to find a job, then that's their loss. The other positive that may come out of dropping your resume off in person is you can go back to tip number 3, as you may run into someone who's already working in that job, and you may be able to talk to them and pick their brain right then and there. So as far as I'm concerned, there's more pluses than minuses to dropping your resume off in person, and I would recommend doing that. My 5th and final tip for finding a job is to stay aggressive. Stay aggressive in your search for a job. Keep changing and adapting until you get your job. Try to get into as many interviews as possible. Even if it's a job you're not sure you want to take or you like, it's good to get the experience. If you go through many interviews, you will learn the types of questions that are asked, you'll learn how to adapt and answer them, and it will get your brain thinking of how to improve from one interview to the next. The other thing that I've done over time is that because I like to create individual resumes and cover letters per job, I've created a library of cover letters and a library of resumes. And sometimes there are jobs that are similar, so I pull from previous resumes and previous cover letters and tweak them a little bit. And over time you'll find you'll have so many customized cover letters and resumes that you're really able to target the various jobs that you're going after. I also found that over time that slowly got me to a point where almost every time I send in a resume, I would be called in for an interview. The other part of staying aggressive is that when you do get a chance to do an interview, you're able to promote yourself and sell yourself with confidence. So the only way to really get to that point is through repetition. Over time, you will be able to develop that self-confidence, and a company will be ready to hire somebody who's ready to put in that work and who shows that level of confidence. So from the previous steps, you will gain a lot of knowledge and information, and it will help you prepare for these jobs, and a company wants to hire someone who knows what they're doing. So those are my 5 tips for helping you find a job. Hopefully they help you in your search. And of course, if you have any questions or comments about this topic, please leave them for me below in the comment section. Now, on a completely different note, I want to shout out this YYZ t-shirt I have here. And for those of you who don't know, YYZ is the airport code for Toronto, Canada. This is a t-shirt I bought off a high school program that's helping new immigrants settle in Toronto. As you can see, it has YYZ, and there's a silhouette of the Toronto skyline in there as well. These are some high school youth looking to make a difference in the city of Toronto and other initiatives as well. So if you also want to show your support, I will leave a link to their website below. You can read about the different initiatives they're involved in, and if you feel like, also get yourself a t-shirt. They also have a sweatshirt if you're interested as well, which I also bought the year before. So I bought this one last year and this one this year. The group is called JPCI City. Go to their website to find out more. Okay, so that's the end of this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do so, and we'll see you guys again next time. Take care. Peace out.